श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम्. Now, after studying the 8 anuvakas of the second Valli with Shankara Bhashya, now we have come to the 9th anuvaka. Actually, this anuvaka begins with the most popular statement in the Advaita, very often quoted. Yato vacho nivartante apraapya manasa saha. So this is the very frequently quoted statement from the Upanishad. Actually, this speaks of the nature of the Brahma, that Brahman is always beyond all our reach, because the senses, logic, mind, nothing can reach it. This is actually the thing the Upanishads want to tell us, all the Upanishads. But still, why all the Upanishads speak about Brahma if it is beyond all knowledge and experience? Because they want to tell us that there cannot be duality, like we experiencing Brahma is not possible. When we are away, we are Jiva. And when we experience Brahma, we are the Brahma. So therefore, there will be only one Brahma. That's why there is no chance of knowing that I am experiencing Brahma. Then what about Aham Brahmasmi? So even Vidyaranya Swami and Appaya Dikshita, they say about that. This is actually a stage below Brahma experience, in which there is a small portion, a remnant of avidya. Avidya is not totally destroyed. This is explained in the Shastra Siddhanta Lesha Sangraha also. So therefore, it is quite clear that the Brahman is beyond all logic, reasoning, and understanding. Then, how is that? This Anuvaka begins. Yato vacho nivartante apraapya manasa saha anandam brahmano vidwan na bibheti kutascha neti etagumha vavana tapati kim aham sadhuna karavam kim aham papamakaravimiti sa ya evam vidwan ete atmanagum sprunute ubhe hyeva esha ete atmanagum sprunute ya evam veda ityupanishat. So it says, one who realizes Brahma, he realizes that the Brahman is that kind of reality from which the speech, that means all the words, along with the mind, return. That means not touching the Brahman, not exactly referring to the Brahman, all these come back. That means as if they hit hard this Brahma, they come back. That means a kind of futility is indicated here, that the words may try to speak about Brahman, but ultimately they cannot speak. But we cannot speak out Brahman is also a positive thing of the speech. So therefore, yato, yataha means from which Brahman, vacho nivartante, the words return. Return means not properly referring to it, completely referring to it. Aprapya. So if this word is not there, aprapya, people may understand that yato vacho nivartante. Okay, after touching Brahman, they come back. But aprapya nivartante, that means with such failure they come back. That means the words fail in expressing the Brahman. Manasasaha, not only the words, even our imagination, our mind, that also fails in grasping the nature of Brahman. So thus, there is no impression nor expression. Impression in the form of the mind functioning and getting the knowledge. It is not possible. And only when the mind gets something that can be expressed. Without impression, how can there be an expression? So the expression, that means verbal expression, is possible only when there is a kind of impression. And impression is possible when mind is active. Expression is possible only when the speech is active. But all these fail in reaching the Brahman, in expressing the Brahman. Aprapyamana sasaha anandam brahmano vidwan. The one who realizes the ananda aspect of Brahman, that means the bliss aspect of Brahman, na bibheti kutaschaneti, does not fear kutaschana from anything. That means in the world, generally we fear from disease, old age, inability, calamities, death. So these are actually the source or the cause of the fear. But vidwan, in Sanskrit, the word vidwan means knowing, the one who knows. So vidwan, what vidwan? Knowing what? Anandam brahmano vidwan. That means brahmanaha anandam vidwan. So this way, if you rearrange in prose order, all these words tell us that one who knows the bliss aspect of the Brahman, na bibheti, does not fear, kutaschaneti, from anything at all. And etagum havava natapati, definitely, he is not troubled by this. What is that? Kimaham sadhuna karavam, kimaham papamakaram. So these two are there. Have I committed any sin? Have I not committed any merit? That means throughout my life, have I not done any good? Have I done all the bad? So these two are the feelings. And etagum havava natapati, but he is not tormented. He is not troubled by these because he is established in the Brahman. So therefore, the Brahman realization itself simply clears all this impurity. So that's why in the Bhagavad Gita also we find Jnanagnihi sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute Arjuna. Hey Arjuna, the fire in the form of knowledge destroys all our sins, all our karma. So all karma is included there. That's why sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. So towards the end of the Bhagavad Gita also, Lord Krishna makes it very clear that if you surrender to me, I will liberate you. That means I assure that you will definitely get a kind of liberation from all dukkha. Mamekam sharanam vraja. Sarva papebhyo moksheshan. So he says, knowingly or unknowingly, you may have committed several sins, but sure, I will release you. So this kind of assurance is given in the end of the Bhagavad Gita. So this knower of Brahman is not affected by these two, merit or non-merit. Saya evam vidwan ete atmanagum sprunute, because he sees everything in the form of the self. That means he does not find any other thing than the self. So because everything is self, it is sprunute. That means it is strengthened. He gets a kind of strength. That strength is stated in the Chandogya Upanishad also. That is Pandityam nirvidya balyena tishtasit. Balya is balasya bhavaha. That strength is required. So Pandityam, Balyam, Maunam. So that is Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. So these three are required to strengthen ourselves. And especially in the spiritual life, this is absolutely true that we get all peace and inner strength through these, always contemplating on the nature of self. And naturally, when we contemplate on this nature, our mind cannot independently go on to that. So that's why we should take the help of scriptures. And with the help of these scriptures, when we try to ponder over the nature of the self, then automatically the Brahman, that reality manifests itself. And all the saints, they have experienced this. So naturally, the knower of Brahman is not troubled by merit or demerit, but he actually gets strengthened. He invigorates his own self with the notion of Brahman. Ubhe hyevayesha ete atmanagum sprunute ya evam veda. One who knows the Brahman in the manner described in the Upanishad till this part. So he gets all strength. Ityupanishad, this is the most secret and sacred teaching of the Upanishad. Shankara Bhashya explains, Yataha, Yasmat, that means from which, Nirvikalpad, from which means from which Nirvikalpa, because mind and speech can reach the Savikalpa. They can talk about the Savikalpa, not the Nirvikalpa. Savikalpa in the form of the universe can be understood and expressed through words. But the Nirvikalpa is difficult to be grasped. Because in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita also it is stated that the Brahman possesses no characteristics and properties. That's why you cannot pinpoint this is the Brahman, idamiti. So this is not possible. Then you can say only neti neti. This is not Brahman. This is not Brahman. So that way, all the Savikalpa can be totally denied. So after discarding all the properties and characteristics in the Brahman, whatever remains is the absolute Nirguna Brahma Nirvikalpaka. Yadhokta Lakshanat, and that Nirvikalpa reality is the subject matter of Upanishads and has been expounded in this Taittiriya Upanishad also as Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Asti Brahmeti Chedveda Santamenam Tato Viduhu. So all this refers to the Brahman without any conditions or adjuncts and attributes. Advayanandat Atmanaha. Advayanandat Atmanaha. So that particular reality, which is the self and which is Advaya Ananda. Advaya, secondless. Ananda, bliss. So two things are there. Advaya, it has no second. Generally, other people in the other systems explain that Advaya means not having any other similar entity. But Shankaracharya says no similar entity, no dissimilar entity also. Sajatiya, Vijatiya, Swagata. So all kinds of differences are totally discarded in the Brahma. Then only Brahman can be Advaya. Ananda, and that is absolute bliss also. Absolute in the sense not contaminated or not mixed with any other guna. So this is pure bliss. Vachaha, from that self, the words, abhidhanani, that means words, dravyadi, savikalpa vastu vishayani. So now he makes clear that the purview of the words or the field of speech is made clear here. That means what do the words refer? They refer to savikalpa. That means if something is there with all qualities, attributes, then words can refer to that because mind can reach it. But this Brahman in the form of the self has no attributes and qualities. So therefore, there is no question of either mind or words getting onto that. Vastu samanyat nirvikalpe advayepi brahmani prayoktrurbhi prakashanaya prayujyamanani. But because the words refer to the savikalpa, people mistake. They think that words can refer to nirvikalpa also. So out of this practice of referring to the savikalpa, they apply speech with regard to the nirvikalpa also. But what happens? The words cannot reach Nirvikalpa, they can talk about only Savikalpa. Then Aprapya, Aprakashaiva Nivartante, Arthat, so Samarthyat Hiyante. So when somebody uses words to describe, explain the nature of Nirvikalpa Brahma or Nirguna Brahma, then the words not referring to that Brahma and not being able to explain that Brahma come back, return. Return in what sense? Shankaracharya says, return means here, so samarthyat hiyante. That means they lose their capacity. Otherwise, they can explain. The words can convey the meaning if it is nirguna. But when it comes to the nirguna, saguna okay, nirguna, then the words fail. This is exactly what Ramakrishna Paramahamsa also explained to his disciples. So he said, this is like tasting some sweet. You taste it, you feel it, but you can never experience and express. The thing is, it is like in modern physics, we say qualia. These qualia are like the red color, the smell of something. We can tell it is good smell or bad smell or fragrance or bad odor. We can tell others. But when it comes to clear exposition or clear explanation of that particular one, we don't have words. What is redness? Without referring to the physics, you cannot tell what is redness. If the other person does not know red, there is no chance of telling him what is red. You can show this is red color. Then the other person refers that particular word to that particular object. And whenever he sees this, he uses the word red. So this is generally the process of communication. But here, you experience or you remain as the nirguna, then because it is nirguna, you don't have words to express it. Manaha, aprapya manasa saha, he said. What is this manaha? Vijnanam, pratyaha. Manaha is nothing but knowledge, the faculty of knowing. Tacha, yatra abhidhanam pravrittam atindriyepyarthe, tatarthe cha pravartate prakashanaya. So that mind can reach only that particular one which is expressed by words. Actually, there are two theories. I use words only when I got the knowledge. I get knowledge only then when there is verbal expression of that. See, all this is connected. If somebody uses words, I listen to them, I understand, and again I use. So mind, that means understanding first, then expression. But when I use words, the other person, he hears the words first, then understands the meaning later. So this way, sometimes the words, sometimes the thought, they actually proceed. And when words fail in expressing something, mind cannot reach it. Yatra cha vijnanam tatra vachah pravrittihi. So therefore, the theory is wherever there is knowledge, there is the application of words or use of words. Tasmat sahaiva vangmanasayoho abhidhana pratyayoho pravritti sarvatra. So therefore, these two, that means words and mind, are used together everywhere because they are the cause of expression and impression or the knowledge. Tasmat Brahma prakashanaya sarvadha prayoktirbhih prayujyamanapi vachaha yasmat apratyaya vishayat anavideyat adrushyadi visheshanat sahaiva manaso vijnanena sarva prakashana samarthena nivartante tam brahmana anandam shrotriyasya avrujanasya akama hatasya sarvaishana vinirmuktasya atmabhutam vishay vishay sambandha vinirmuktam swabhavikam nityam avibhaktam paramanandam Brahmano vidwan yadhoktena vidhina na bibheti kutaschana nimitta bhavat. So now Shankaracharya explains that when people use words to express that Nirguna Brahma, attributeless Brahma, then though being used, the words cannot refer to that Brahma because apratyaya vishaya, because Brahman cannot be the object of knowledge, because always subject. Brahman cannot be object. That's why Vijnataram Are Kenava Vijaniyat. Brahman cannot become the object. That is the problem. He is always subject. Na drushte, na drashtuhu drushter viparilopo vidyate. There is another sentence that drushti is there and it is all subject. And anabhidheyat. So therefore the Brahman is anabhidheya, na abhidheya. Abhidheya means that which can be expressed. Anabhidheya means inexplicable. Adrishyadi Visheshanat. Because before also in the previous Anuvaka also the Brahman has been explained as what? Tasmat Adrishye, Anatme, Anirukte, Anilayane. All the four adjectives that are used for the Brahman tell us that the Brahman is Adrishya, can never be the object of our sight. We can never see. If we see, it is not the true Brahman. This is one. Second, Anatme, it doesn't have any kind of body. Anirukte, and therefore it can never be expressed. And finally, Anilayane, it does not depend on anything. So all these negative characteristics, or you can say negative nature, Brahman is absolutely positive, but known in negative way only. So Manasa Vijnanena Sarva Prakashana Samarthena Nivartante. So the words return along with the mind. Though mind and speech, they illuminate everything in the universe, but here they fail because it is beyond. That's why the great physics scientists also pondered over on this, and they have also come to the conclusion like Edgerton, Eddington, Neil Bohr. All these scientists have proved to the world that there is some reality beyond the physical world, and it can never be thoroughly known, clearly known. Brahmanah anandam shrotriyasya avrijinasya akamahatasya. So when a person realizes that Brahman, a person who is without sin, without any desires, and is very honest, that person, when he realizes the Brahman, because he is free from all the desires, Atmabhutam Vishay Vishay Sambandha Vinirmuktam Swabhavikam Nityam Avibhaktam Paramanandam. So then he realizes the bliss within himself, undivided, not from others. Whenever I experience bliss, it is within. Thus he understands. And there is no relation like Vishaya, Vishayi. Vishaya means object. Vishayi means subject. So there is no such duality at all. The duality is possible when we are experiencing the world. But when we remain as the Brahman, so there can be no such relation at all. Therefore, because there is no cause of any fear, because all Dvaita has simply alleviated. So therefore, because the Dvaita has been destroyed or just removed, there is only one reality, that is Brahman. So therefore, because of this absence of no factor leading to this fear factors, the one who realizes the self does have no fear at all. Na bibheti, he does not fear at all, because there is no cause of fear. Nahi tasmad vidusho anyad vastu antaramasti bhinnam yato bibheti. Shankaracharya explains that when he is in this particular realization, there is no second thing at all. And that's why he does not fear. अविद्यया यदोदरम अंतरम कुरुते अध तस्य भयम भवति इति उक्तम. Already it was explained in the previous Anuvaka that only asmin udaram antaram kurute adhatasya bhayam bhavati. This mantra has explained to us that only when we see little bit of difference in the word, duality in the word, then there is fear. Because duality, the second one, alone causes all fear. There will not be any fear at all if a person is fully immersed in this Brahman. विदुषश्च अविद्या कार्यस्य तैमिरिक दृष्ट द्वितीय चंद्रवत् नाशात् भयनिमित्तस्य च नबिभेति कुतश्चनेति युज्यते. So he is the realized soul, and because he has not got the wheel called avidya, because avidya actually conceals everything. Avidya is endowed with two powers. It functions in two ways. One is concealing everything, and other is projecting some other thing else. It does not function in two ways always, but sometimes it functions in one way, two ways, or both the ways. How? Sometimes we don't know something. This is one wheeling power of Advait, avidya. We don't know, but that's all. That's like what is there beyond the wall? We don't know. This is ignorance. But there is another kind of ignorance that in this particular type, we find that though there is something in reality, we don't know that, but we understand some other thing there. So this is the problem here. That means something is there, the avidya conceals that, but it does not stop there. It projects something else, like the snake on the rope. So when the snake rope is mistaken for the snake, it's actually the ignorance. It functions in two ways here. That it first conceals the rope, that we don't know the rope, but on account of some similarity, some other thing is projected, that is the snake. So this is also the effect of avidya. And taimarika drushta dvitiya chandravat nashat, when that avidya is destroyed, then bhayanimitasya abhavat, then there is no cause of fear, na bibheti. Therefore he does not fear at all. Manomaye cha udahruto mantro manaso brahma vijnana sadhanatvat. So this particular mantra is cited here because manas is a means to Brahman realization. That means through mind only we have to reach. How? Because Upanishad itself says ki manasaivaidam aptavyam neha nanasti kinchana. Manasaivaidam aptavyam. But what kind of man? Shankaracharya explains, it should be shamadamadi samskrita man. That means that which is purified by all shama, dama, uparati, titiksha. So when all these positive qualities are there inside, then only the mind is pure, and such mind alone can grasp the Brahman. Bhayamatram pratishiddham iha advaita vishe na vibheti kutaschaneti bhaya nimittameva pratishiddhyate. So here, na vibheti kutaschana, this Upanishadic statement tells us that he does not fear from anything. Anything means there is no such fear factor at all. Only this much is intended here, because everything that causes fear is just negated in the Advaita. Nanu asti bhayanimittam sadhvakaranam papakriyacha. But the objector says, but see, there in the main mantra itself it is stated that have I not done any good thing, have I done sinful thing. So actually these two things are there. So even in the Brahman realization, the Papa Punya will be there. Then he should fear from that. Shankaracharya says, Naivam, it's not so. Kathamit yuchyate, etam yathoktam evam vidam ha va iti avadharanartho. Va va. So it is actually uh, to state something assertively, these indeclinables are used. So one who knows the Brahman in this form, na tapati, he does not get agitated, he does not get disturbed and troubled also. Katham punah sadhvakaranam papakriya cha na tapati. Actually, not doing something good and doing all the bad things is actually it's very bad. It should trouble us. But Shankaracharya says, देखो किम कस्मात् साधु शोभनम कर्म ना करवो न कृतवान अस्मीति पश्चात संतापो भवति आसन्ने मरण काले. So actually, when a person gets closer to the death, when he is on the deathbed, and if there is still consciousness, then that individual soul remembers and gets troubled also. Have I not done any good thing? Have I done all sinful things? This much. तथा किं कस्मात् पापं प्रतिषिद्धं कर्माकरमं कृतवान् अस्मि इति च नरकपतनादि दुःखभयात् तापो भवति. Yes, such person will fear from hell because he thinks throughout my life I may have committed all the bad and now I'll have to go to the hell. Thus he may fear. ते एते साध्वकरण पापक्रिये एवमेनं न तपतः. So they actually trouble an ignorant person, not the realized person. So therefore the difference between these two is very clear. Kasmat punar vidvamsan natapataha. Then it's naturally asked by the objector, why these two do not torment that self-realized one? If he is self-realized, okay. But the mantra says that he gets the feeling like, have I not committed any good? Have I committed all the bad? So this much is enough to say that even in the Brahman realization, this fear will be there. So that's why getting an absolute release from the hold of papa, hold of fear is not possible. That fear will be there itself. So here it's in this present sentence also, the fear is clear. Ya evam vidvanete sadhu sadhuni tapahetu iti atmanam sprunute prinayati balayati cha. But the one who has realized the soul, he does not fear. Instead, he looks on these as the self, because everything is the self, and the papa, punya, whatever have taken place, they are actually not different from the self. So therefore, he is totally relaxed, equipoised, and Paramatma Bhavena Ubhe Pashyati. And he looks at these two as Paramatma only, the Supreme Self only, because everything is a product within the kingdom of the Supreme Self. Ubhe Punya Papehi Yasmadevameva Vidvanete Atmanam Atmarupeneva Punya Pape Swena Vishesha Rupena Shunye Kritva Atmanam Sprunite. So that particular realized soul does totally remove his own personal identity, personal feeling, personal attachment, and looks at these as something belonging to the supreme self, cosmos, the supreme reality. So therefore, he is not at all affected by them. Ko ya evam veda yadhoktam advaitam anandam brahma veda tasyatma bhavena drushte punya pape. So whoever realizes the Brahman, he understands these punya papa as the self only. Then nirvirye, and on account of this realization only, the punya and papa, the merit and demerit, they lose their strength, the ability to lead to heaven or hell. So that potentiality is destroyed by knowledge. This is what Bhagavad Gita also tells us. Jnanagnihi sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute. So this destruction is possible on the dawn of realization. Atapake, and therefore these two do not trouble him. Janmantara arambhake nabhavataha. And they will not lead to further birth only when Brahman is realized. Otherwise, there is all this, the cycle of birth and death. Tadantara Pratipattau Ramhati Samparishwaktaha Prashna Nirupanabhyam, says the Brahma Sutra, that once you leave the body, then the subtle body, in the form of all the vital breath, the senses, all this together. That means all the 10 senses, that means Jnanendriya, Karmendriya, 10, and the Panchaprana, that means 15, Man and Buddhi. So this actually makes the package. This is known as Linga Sharira, or the causal body. This actually takes all births and deaths. The pure self does not have any birth or death. Na jayate, na mriyate va vipaschit, says Kathopanishad and Bhagavad Gita also. So therefore, when a person realizes this kind of self, there cannot be any further birth and death. So, itiyam evam yathoktasyam valyam Brahma Vidya Upanishad. So in this way, that Brahma Vidya Upanishad is explained in this Valli. Vidyabhyah Paramarahasyam Darshitam Ityarthaha. And the very sacred and secret knowledge of Upanishads is expounded here, presented in all these Anuvaka. Param Shreyo Asyam Nishannamiti. And in this way, the great welfare is placed in this knowledge. So if we repeatedly study this and meditate on the meaning of this Upanishad in solitude, sitting alone, when we just put our mind on the meaning of this Anuvaka, at least one sentence, Brahma vidapnoti param, satyam jnanam anantam brahma, anandam brahmano vidwan, take any sentence. But when we put our mind on that, so automatically we get into deep meditation. This is possible. Otherwise, in order to get into meditation, we practice several things such as asana, pranayama, pratyahara. But even these sentences are meditative sentences, so we can get the experience of meditation. So with this, the Brahmananda Valli ends. The 9 Anuvakas are over here. And then we get into the Bhrigu Valli. Bhrigu, as the first Anuvaka of this Valli tells us, that Bhrigu is the name of an ascetic, son of Varuna. Bhrigur vai Varunif Pitaram Upasasara. So thus goes the mantra. And before that, Shankaracharya wants to tell us something about the Valli. That means before we start with the Anuvaka, the direct mantra of the Upanishad, Shankaracharya tries to connect us with the Upanishad. He says, see, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Akashadi Karyam Annamayantam Sruštva. He connects all the previous Anuvakas and tells, see, in the beginning of the Brahmananda Valli also we had seen that there is a reality in the form of Satyam, Jnanam, Anandam. And that reality tries to manifest like Ekoham Bahusyam Praja Yeti Tat Sruštva Tadevanu Pravishat Satchatyacha Bhavat Niruktancha Niruktancha Nilayanancha Nilayancha Vijnanancha Vijnanancha. So all these refer to the Brahmananda Valli. So that kind of Brahman has created the world right from the Akasha, and then he entered into that, whatever he has created in the form of the Jiva. Visheshavat iva upalabhamanam yasmat, and he is known as if he is having some attributes, though he is nirvikalpaka. Tasmat sarvakarya vilakshanat adrushyadi dharmakameva anandam tadeva ahamiti vijaniyat. So because the Brahman has entered into the world, universe, so I am no other than the Brahman. I cannot be different, because the Upanishad tells us that the Brahman has created and entered in the form of the soul. I am the soul, therefore I am the Brahman. So this general logic applies here. And Vijanataha, and when a person gets the realization, Shubha Shubhe Karmani janmantararambhake na bhavataha. And just previous anuvaka also he connects, saying that when a person realizes this, then either sin or merit, they do not touch him. Instead, they become his strength. And evam vivakshutortha parisamapta cha brahma vidya. So this manner, the meaning intended was properly expressed, and the Brahmananda was Valli was also closed. Atah param. And now, after that, Brahma Vidya sadhanam tapaha vaktavyam. Now, what remains? You have explained about Brahma Vidya, but what about the Brahma Vidya sadhana? That means how to achieve it, how to get that experience. And for that, Annadi Vishayani cha Upasanani Uktani iti. For that, the Upasana as Annamaya Panchakosha Upasana is stated in the previous Valli. That means from the Annamaya, Manomaya, Pranamaya, Vijnanamaya. So we should raise ourselves to the Anandamaya. So then only we will be out of all fear. Therefore, now he gives the Anuvaka. भृगुर्वै वारुणः पितरमुपससार अधीः भगवो ब्रह्मेति तस्मा एतत् प्रोवाच अन्नं प्राणं चक्षुश्रोत्रं मनो वाचमिति तागुम्होवाच यतो वा इमानि भूतानि जायन्ते येन जातानि जीवन्ति यत्प्रयन्त्यभिसंविशन्ति तद्विजिज्ञासस्व तद्ब्रह्मेति स तपोतप्यत स तपस्तप्त्वा. It starts with Bhruguru Varunihi. So it refers to a previous story. So it happened long back that an ascetic young man called Bhrigu approached his father, known as Varuna. So he approached his father and requested him, Adhihi Bhagavaha Brahma. Master, that means father, please teach me the Brahman. Tasma etat pro vacha. Then his father told him, Annam pranam chakshushrotram mano vacham iti. So he explained to his son, see, Anna, Prana, Chakshu, Shrotra, Man, Vak, these are actually the Indriya, both Jnanendriya, Karmendriya. He said, these are the Brahman. Tagum ho vacha. Then he told him, Yeto va imani bhutani jayante, yena jatani jivanti, yat prayanti, abhisam vishanti, tad vijijnasasva, tad brahmeti. Now, see, when the son asks about the Brahman, the father does not give a big exposition on the Brahman. Instead, he says, that means applying the logic. Yatova imani bhutani jayante. That means you can also get into your experience that you look around and observe that everything is created, every moment, many things are created. And yatova imani bhutani jayante, jatani jivanti. And all these which get life remain in that particular body for some time. And towards the end, tat prayanti, abhisamvishanti, then all these get back to the Brahman and remain as the Brahman. Abhisamvishanti, they become one with the Brahman. So this is what Chandogya Upanishad also tells us, that sata sampanno bhavati tada swam api ito bhavati swapiti tyachakshate. So thus every one of us, we merge with the Brahman, and that merging is not a kind of remaining distinct, but purely one. Tad vijijnasasva. My boy, you realize that Tad Brahmeti, that is the Brahma, the cosmic reality. You put your mind on that. Satapo tapyata. But the boy did not just think on that. He performed penance. Penance is actually of two types. One is purificatory, that means only to purify ourselves, and other is leading to the realization. So many people do tapasya, but they remain at the lower level only. If tapasya is performed with a mind on the cosmic reality, then tapasya will take us above. So sa tapas tapyata, sa tapo tapyata. So he practiced penance. Sa tapas tapva. After practicing penance in the manner ordained in the scriptures, because his father himself is the teacher, so no problem. But he practices penance. That means fully controls himself and takes an oath and follows that. Then Shankaracharya explains here, Akhyayika Vidyastutaye. Why this story here? This story in this particular Upanishad is to praise the Vidya, the knowledge of that. That means long back, some Rishi and his son, they did that. So you also can do that. So this way it tries to give us a lesson, a message that you also practice it. So this is Vidya Stutaye. Vidya means knowledge. Stuti means praise, eulogy. So Vidya Stutaye, that means it is to praise knowledge. So they did that, we can also do that. But the only thing is a kind of intent mind on that is required. Then Priyaya Putraya Pitrokteti Bhrugurvai Varunihi. So he says Bhrugurvai Varunif Pitaramasasara. That means the father taught this, gave this sacred knowledge to his dear son. And this is very, very sacred and of high value. Vaishabdha Prasiddhanusmarako Bhruguritevam Nama Prasiddho Anusmaryate. Bhrugur Vai, the indeclinable Vai, is only to tell us that it is a very popular one. Varunihi Varunasya Patyam Varunihi Varunam Pitaram Upasasara. So he is son of Varuna, therefore Varuni, his name is Bhrugu. And to get the knowledge of the Brahman, he approached his father. Adhihi Adhyapaya Kathaya. What is Adhihi? Please teach. Sachapita Vidhuvadupsannaya Tasmai Putraya Etad Vachanam Provacha. So naturally, when the son has approached him, the father, that is Varuna, so he realized that it is Vidhivat Upasanna. That means, according to proper method of our Dharma Shastra, the son approached the father. Nowadays, the son does not approach the father. And even when he approaches, the father does not have any answer at all. That is the problem. But in our tradition, mostly the father will be the first teacher. In the house, he establishes the Gurukula and he teaches most of the Shastra to the student. That means his own son. So this way, we come across several such episodes in the Upanishads that the father himself teaches the Upanishads, the Shastra, everything. Tasmai putraye etad vachanam provacha annam pranam chakshushtrotram manaha vachamiti. Annam, that is the body physical. Tadabhyantarancha pranam. Upalabdhi sadhanani chakshushtrotram mano vacham. Actually, these are all the means to knowledge. And Brahmopalabdho dwarani. Thus, the father has told the son that these are the means to get the Brahman. But these get the Saguna Brahman, not the Nirguna Brahman. Etani annadinitam bhrugum hovacha brahmano lakshanam. Kim tat? Then he told him the nature of Brahman. What is that? Yato va imani bhutani jayante. That is the Brahman out of which everything is born, everything originates. One. Yena jatani jivanti. And because of which everything that is created sustains for some time, lives for some time. Vinashakale yat prayanti. That means to that they return. Abhisam vishanti tadatmameva pratipadyante utpatti sthiti layakaleshu yadatmatam najahati bhutani tadetat brahmano lakshana. So at the time of dissolution also, all these beings, they never leave the nature of Brahman. They become one with the Brahman. That's why there cannot be any fear of death at all. Because where can we go? Wherever we go, that is the Brahman. So therefore, everybody will be in the Brahman. Tad Brahma vijijnasasva. Then you try to realize that Brahman. Yadevam lakshanam Brahma tad annadi dvarena pratipadyasi iti artha. So this kind of Brahma, that which creates, sustains, and takes back. That Brahman, see, in the Annam, in the Prana, in the Shrotra, in the Chakshu, in the Tvak, in the Vak. So in all these, that Brahman is there. And in the other Brihadaranyaka Upanishad also it is stated, Pranasya Pranam Uta Chakshushas Chakshuruta Shrotrasya Shrotram Annasya Annam Manaso Ye Mano Viduhu Te Nichikyuhu Brahma Puranam Agryam. So those realized souls have understood that the Brahman is the source of seeing, the source of hearing, the source of doing something, the source of prana, the source of thinking, everything, like the Kenopanishad. So that they Nichikyuhu, that means they have churned that Brahma, churned. That means they have made hard effort to extract it. And this is known as tapasya. Nichayam mrityu mukhat pramuchyate. Kathopanishad also tells us that with utmost devotion only we can extract the essence of Brahman. Otherwise, we will mix it with the world. So our mind cannot be pure. And this Upanishad says, Brahmolabdhau dvarani etani iti darshayati. So this Upanishad also shows that all these senses are the means in the realization of Brahma. Sabhruguhu Brahmopalabdhi dvarani Brahmalakshanancha Shrutva Pitustapo Brahmopalabdhi sadhanatvena atapyata taptavan. So from his father, this Bhrigu had learnt that these are all the means to Brahma realization. He returned, and having been permitted by his father, he performed tapaha, that is penance. Kutaha punar anupadishtaseva tapasa sadhanatva pratipattir bhrugoho savaseshoktehe. Why do you say? Why do you say particularly that the tapaha is the means to Brahman? It is not stated. He says, no, because the words of Bhrigu, words of Varuna are meaningful here. Annadi Brahmana pratipatto dvaram lakshanancha yato va imani ityadyuktavan. Because his father told him that, see, Annam, Pranam, Chakshu, Shrotram, Mana, all these are the ways to Brahman. This is the Brahman is in this form. Savasesham hi tas sakshat Brahmano anirdeshat. And directly he cannot talk about Brahma because the words cannot touch it. So therefore, it is incomplete. Savasesham, incomplete only. Anyadhahi swarupeneva Brahma nirdeshtavyam jijnasve putra idamithan rupam brahmeti. Otherwise, father should have told his son that this is Brahma with all the characteristics. Like this is book, you can show. Similarly, this is Brahma, you show it. Nachaivam niradishat. But his father did not say this is Brahma, this is Brahma. Kim tarhi savaseshameva uktavan. His father taught him the incomplete Brahman only. Brahman is always complete, but whatever was taught was incomplete. Whatever was taught by the father to his son was incomplete. Why? The knowledge will be complete only with tapasya. Ato avagamyate nunam sadhanantram api apekshate pita brahma vijnanam pratiti. So thus, the father knows that something is required for the Brahma jnana. Tapo vishesha pratipattistu sarvatadaka tamatvat. And this penance is actually the most efficient cause of self-realization. Tapasya. So that's why in all the Yoga Vasishta, Bhagavata, Bharata, and all types of Gita, you find that tapa is emphasized. Sarvesham hi niyata sadhya vishayanam sadhananam tapa eva sadhakatamam sadhanam iti hi prasiddhan loke. Because among all the kinds of means of achieving something, penance is the foremost. Through penance, the great people have achieved something really in the world. Tasmat pitranupadishtam brahma vijnana sadhanatvena tapah pratipede bhrugu. So even though it was not taught, instructed by his father, Bhrigu understood that tapa is the foremost means of self-realization. So therefore, after getting that Bhrigu tacha tapo bhashyantakarana samadhanam resorted to the tapas in the form of doing penance externally, internally, with the body, with the mind. So that should be pure tapaha. Tapaha is not just physical, not just mental. Both are combined. That is tapaha. Tad dvarakatvat brahma pratipattehe. And that tapasya is the avenue or the passage into the Brahman. That means regularly do tapasya, then a moment will come definitely when there is Brahman realization. Manasascha indriyanam chahi aikagram paramam tapaha. Mahabharata Shanti Parva also tells us that mind and indriya, when they get focused on particular one, it is tapasya. Tad jayah sarvadharmebhya sadharmah parauchyate. And it is actually the foremost of all kinds of dharma, and therefore tapa is the paro dharma. Tapa is the absolute dharma. That means if anybody wants to pursue dharma, that should be in the form of tapaha. So it is smrite. Thus, the Mahabharata Shanti Parva also tells us sacha tapas taptva, and thus the Bhrigu had performed penance. Because that penance, the word tapa means getting heated. So when there is actually friction, there is heat generated. In tapasya also, that kind of inner heat is generated, and that pumps blood to the brain. And depending on the quality of the tapasya, a person will get different kind of knowledge, and ultimately the Brahma Jnana. Thus, tapasya is the only way to the Brahma realization, and everybody should go to that tapa, tapa, tapa. So in all the Upanishads, the tapasya has been very much emphasized, that one should do tapa and then only go to Brahma Vijnana. So here we stop because the Anuvaka ends here. Shruti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. One question from the attendees. This word prana is very confusing. What is this prana? Can you please explain a bit about this word?
Yeah, Shankaracharya also explained this. Prana, some people equate the prana with just air, but it is not air. It is vital breath. That means the air passing through the space, when it enters into that body, it becomes prana. And that prana is equated with Brahma in the Brahma Sutra. Ata eva pranaha. So in the first adhyaya, first pada, it is given Ata eva pranaha. So in that particular sequence, antastad dharmopadeshat bheda vyapadeshat anyaha akashastallingat atayeva pranaha. So this atayeva pranaha connects with the akashastallingat. So naturally tallinga should be connected with the prana. And the Brahma Sutra tells us that in all the Upanishads, there are various indications to the Brahman, and prana is also one of the indication. So we see yena prana praniyate tadeva brahmatvam vidhi. So therefore, prana refers to the Brahman. And in our body also, when the prana vayu, we say prana vayu, when that prana is there, then we are alive. If vayu is there, we are not alive. Because there is a kind of vayu known as Devadatta. What our texts say, Mrutam vapi na jahati. There is Dhananjaya vayu, it does not leave the body. So when a person dies, there is air inside. Prana is not there. So therefore, in my opinion, of course, the great acharyas tell us that the prana should not be understood as vayu. Vayu is physical, prana is spiritual, because it is empowered with that particular Brahma. So therefore, prana is Brahma.
Thank you, sir. One more question from my side, if you permit me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you referred Bhagavad Gita shloka, this particular shloka, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Raja Aham Tva Sarva Papebhyo Moksha Ishyami Vashujaha.
Yeah.
So just by mere surrendering to the Paramatman, are we going to get moksha?
The problem is, if we have an iota of doubt or suspicion, we cannot surrender completely. There is no complete surrenderance to the God, but absolute surrender. That means in the Bhagavad Gita itself, Krishna said, Ahameva paraiti samahatma sudurlabha vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. That means sarvam vasudevaha or vasudevaha sarvam. This kind of realization is very, very difficult. But when a person gets the realization, there is no question that it is absolute prapatti sharanagati. So therefore, it is a sign of realization, not just understanding that, okay, everything is Brahman, I surrender to that. This is the surrenderance experienced and shown by the Alvars, especially in the Visishtadvaita. And there are several such instances also. So, if it is absolute surrenderance, definite, the realization is definite. This is exactly what Advaita also tells us. Because, see, we say that there is first sadhana, then sadhana level increased, then it leads to what? It leads to the experience aham brahmasmi. Aham brahma asmi. I am the Brahman. So this is also a kind of establishing oneself in the Brahma. Brahma samstaha amrutatvameti. This is the cause of immortality. So in this also, there is absolute surrenderance to the aham or Brahma, or aham as the Brahma. So therefore, this is the ultimate state that Madhusudan Saraswati also explains, and all the Chaitanya Prabhu and other acharyas, they also explain. But Sarva Dharman has been differently interpreted. That Sarva Dharma, if you leave all the dharma, then nothing will remain. Then nobody can save you. So some people explain. But in the Bhagavatam also, Sri Krishna in the Kapila Gita, Kapila, these are all the explanatory sentences. They all explain that if it is absolute, then there is the liberation guaranteed. If it is not absolute, then there is problem.
Well, sir, excellent. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much, sir.